drop for the family.
The Black singer's money manager testified Burke earned at least $10 million between 2023 and 2025. New Jersey just banned a grocery pricing tactic that most shoppers don't know exists. Governor Mikey Sherrill signed a law stopping delivery platforms from using your data to set a custom price. She says it comes as families pay $310 a year more at the grocery store. And Tyler Perry Studios is teaming up with Synapse Virtual Production to transform its Atlanta soundstage by year's end. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
July is Disability Pride Month, a time to celebrate identity, individuality, and inclusion. Pride means showing up as your full, authentic self without apology. Let's celebrate what makes every one of us unique. Easter Seals Disability Services honors Disability Pride Month. Learn more at socal.easterseals.com.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Dodgers are off today. They will spend part of their day off at the White House. Trump invited the Dodgers and team staff to the White House to celebrate their World Series championship last year. There are so many things wrong with the Dodgers accepting this invitation. First of all, Trump doesn't even like Los Angeles, and he proved it last year when he ordered ICE patrols to invade the city to round up suspected undocumented immigrants. Many of the immigrants taken off the street or out of their homes are Dodgers fans. The Dodgers have a very large fan base among Latino and Spanish-speaking residents in L.A. Even if Dodgers owner Mark Walter is a friend of Trump, he should have told Trump, thanks, but we'll pass. How can Walter and his players justify visiting a man at the White House who disrespected their fans and their city? It is not a good look for the Dodgers to be there today. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. Let's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
I'm Reverend Gerald, the life coach. Is someone you love struggling with addiction and mental illness? Is improving your family's health important? Want to leave a legacy that your family can grow? Are you ready to enhance your perception of life experiences? Then wake up weekends at 7 a.m. with Urban Family Focus and get the wisdom, opportunity, resources, and motivation to live your best life. Join the conversation on Urban Family Focus Saturday and Sunday at 7 a.m.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
Oh no.
Turn the roof down.
Oh no, we have time.
Please, God, save us. Save our house. Please, God, please.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we haven't forgotten what happened Tuesday, January 7th, 2025.
The trauma, processing the loss of our home. How do we address the compounding effect of the fire now more than 18 months later? I noticed one of my 3 children engaged in self-harm who hasn't been able to articulate the challenges that they've had since the fire. And 4 out of the 5 folks in our household are in therapy. 1 is not. And the one that's not is the one who I noticed with some marks on their person. This isn't okay. You need to talk to someone.
Black historical memory keeps alive the stories and struggles of everyday people and communities. Black historical memory preserves truths that others attempt to erase, minimize, or distort. Black historical memory prevents history from repeating its worst chapters. At KBLA Talk 1580, we will never forget. Tune into Conversation Live, Altadena Rising with James Farr, weekends on KBLA Talk 1580. 1580. 1580.
Let me put my hard hat on, go back outside, and see if these procrastination Crenshaw construction crews have shown up yet. I'm saving space for grace, but if these trucks don't show up soon, well, you already know.
Destination Crenshaw, your time is up. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. KBLA Talk 1580 and Bethesda Temple Church invite residents, churches, businesses, and community leaders along the Crenshaw corridor to join a vitally important community conversation Thursday, July 30th, 6:30 p.m. at Bethesda Temple Church, 4909 Crenshaw Boulevard. For years now, this community has been living with unkept promises and the devastating effects of the unfinished Destination Crenshaw construction project, leaving residents, businesses, and churches to deal with myriad problems, including the loss of parking, restricted access, traffic congestion, and a lack of emergency vehicle access when it matters most. For years now, Procrastination Crenshaw has directly contributed to the loss of customer revenue for local Black-owned businesses and, sadly, has forced the closure of some businesses along this 1.3-mile corridor. For years now, churches have been experiencing decreased attendance due to the elimination of parking, and social service programs for vulnerable fellow citizens have been altogether halted. For years now, residents have watched their quality of life erode, and nothing has been done about it. If they think they can get away with treating Black folk like second-class citizens, they better think again.
You better think about what you're trying to do to me.
This town hall meeting is a reckoning, a public witness, an opportunity for impacted community members to share their experiences for the public record as we prepare to hold those responsible accountable for this enduring nightmare. So please join us Thursday, July 30th, 6:30 p.m. at Bethesda Temple Church, 4909 Crenshaw Boulevard. This town hall meeting is free and open to the public, but registration is required at KBLA1580.com. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley, and as always, we welcome your feedback. You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Quality drop the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me.
Jackson Jr., welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. We are in the World House with Dr. Johnny Mack. Johnny, welcome forward to the World House.
Thank you, Jesse.
Johnny, how can we work and support your work?
Well, our website is the best place to go to learn about our work and to support it. There you can make a tax-deductible contribution or donation to the World House Project, which is a international nonprofit organization. The website is theworldhouseproject.org. Again, theworldhouseproject.org.
Johnny, I want to pivot slightly from the conversation we were having before the break, and that conversation now includes Nolan Wells, Daniel Irving, and Tyler Smith, 3 young African-American men who on or about or around July 4th lost their lives. And I don't separate the climate within which they lost their lives from the patriot front surrounding that African-American woman on July 4th on their way to march in downtown Washington, D.C. The stage has been set. The climate has been set for a particularly violent period in a new form that may present itself behind the spirit energy that is dominating the nation at this hour. Johnny, I think Dr. King would recognize that spirit energy and he would do something about it. What he would do, I don't know. But help us better understand where we find ourselves at this hour.
Well, I think from the perspective of King, Jesse, this time is one of the most pivotal in our history as a nation. I grew up thinking that the civil rights movement in that time in the mid-20th century could not be matched. I somehow in my younger years thought that we would never go back. Yes, we had much still to do, but at least we had made some strides with the Rights Act, the Human Rights Act, fair housing. These things, Jesse, were pillars with foundations that we thought would never be moved. But toward the middle of the second half of the 20th century, those foundations began to think as they were attacked. And I think, Jesse, that now, as we close the first quarter and enter into the second quarter of the 21st century, the very foundation so fundamental to the reconstruction of a nation that must live up to the true meaning of its creed, as King called it during his famous speech in 1963. Those very foundations have crumbled almost to the point of not even being recognized. And so my point, Jesse, is I thought things would never be as bad as a much younger person than I am today as they were in the mid-20th century. So where we are today, I think rivals where we were then. And so then to your question, what would King do? I think King would double his efforts to call injustice by its name. I think he would double his efforts to call out, as we discussed earlier, those who don't wear hoods anymore, but who wear suits and hold positions and as judges and lawyers and as bankers as well, who live by a creed that suggests that, as I mentioned before, the order we have socially, structurally, is the order that will remain. And King would double his efforts, finally, to call the nation to reordering the social order, the social structure, and to put in place those systems, those policies, those processes, and those institutions that are durable and sustainable for change, because we can't rely on the hearts and minds of individuals.
Johnny, I agree, and I don't know a person who could articulate it more than where Dr. King would be. Of course, we don't know for sure exactly where he would be, but if there was a person who could lay out that articulation, I think you just did. But let me be candid. I think that midterms are about stopping Donald Trump. And I'm under no illusion that that's what Democrats going to Washington, D.C. intend to do. I don't think this election is about passing the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. I don't think this election is about third Reconstruction. I don't think this election is about racial justice and fairness for all Americans. I don't think if legislation made it out of the House of Representatives into the Senate and made it to Donald Trump's desk that he's going to guarantee health care for all between now and 2028. I don't believe that we're going to be able to, without the president's signature, unless we have some significant number of congressmen and a significant number of United States senators, reestablish and restore the Department of Education consistent with Brown versus the Board of Education. I don't think that's going to happen between now and 2028. What I anticipate is an extremely frustrating period when, after we so-called stop Donald Trump, the issues that you just articulated and that Dr. King, I believe, would be standing for will not be advanced by the election and by the political order, because in large measure, one, Dr. King is not here to articulate it and galvanize the national media space necessary to articulate a broad vision. I've not heard that vision from any of the other candidates other than from you on this radio show here at KBLA. At the same time, Johnny, I am not suggesting that we do not vote. Man, we need to stop Donald Trump. I get that. But at the same time, we need to be able to walk and chew bubblegum at the same time. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. We're in the World House with Johnny Mack. More on KBLA Talk 1580 when we come forward.
While you're stuck in traffic, we can at least bring you up to speed on the news of the day. You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. only on KBLA Talk 1580.
Gas prices got you down. LADWP customers get a rebate of up to $4,000 when you buy a used electric or plug-in hybrid vehicle. Installing an EV charger at your home? Get a rebate for that too, up to $1,500. Visit ladwp.com/EV today and start saving. That's ladwp.com/EV.
Roger and Tracy saved over $18,400. Cynthia was recovering from a family tragedy and saved over $10,300. If you are drowning in debt, then call Debt Blue. Debt Blue is a professional debt negotiation firm with over 20 years of experience helping people pay back a fraction of what they owe. Learn how to cut your debt up to half or maybe more. Be debt-free in 24 to 48 months, even with bad credit. With an A+ rating from the BBB, you can rest easy knowing Debt Blue is going to deliver guaranteed debt reduction. Debt Blue offers a success guarantee. You pay nothing unless your debt is reduced or completely resolved. That's right. You save money or it's free. Call now for significant debt relief and a free consultation. 800-200-8879. That's 800-200-8879. You don't have to declare bankruptcy. This program works if you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in debt. Call for your free consultation today. 800-200-8879. That's 800-200-8879.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. At the heart of the Al Wooten Center's mission for good citizenship and academic excellence is a desire to ensure that every student avoids the kind of lifestyle and overcomes the kinds of challenges that led to the murder of Al Wooten Jr. In 1990, founder Myrtle Fay Rumpf opened the center in honor of her son's life. In 2026, they are serving more than 300 students in grades 3 through 12 annually online and on site at their youth center and other sites in the South LA area. The Al Wooten Jr. Youth Center takes a neighborhood approach to the revitalization and empowerment of a community in crisis. The Wooten Center provides free after-school and summer programs to help students in grades 3 through 12 attain grade-level proficiency and promotion, high school graduation, and college and career access and success. The Al Wooten Center focuses on academics, STEM, the arts, and so much more. Join them for an enriching experience that sparks creativity and nurtures young minds. Tap in at WootenCenter.org. That's WootenCenter.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Created with a share of the 1984 Olympic Games surplus, LA 84 began operations in 1985 as a grant-making and educational foundation. Today, the LA 84 Foundation supports hundreds of nonprofit youth sports organizations throughout Southern California annually, trains coaches, commissions research, convenes conferences, and maintains the world's premier Olympic and sports library collection. They are transforming lives and communities through the power of youth sports. To find out about youth sports programs for yourself or your child, and to get information about the grants and support they offer to schools and nonprofits, or if you want to make a donation, please visit la84.org. That's la84.org. Or you can call them at 323-730-4600. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm. A-rated by the Better Business Bureau, their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $3 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-919-9077. 800-919-9077. 800-919-9077.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Now back to more of Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Volley, drop the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. KBLA Talk 1580. Download the app.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. We are in the World House with Dr. Johnny Mack, social entrepreneur, scholar, practitioner, who rearticulates nonviolence beyond the traditional understanding of nonviolent struggle as principally nonviolent resistance. Dr. Mack, welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show.
Always good to be here. Thank you, Jesse.
Dr. Mack, you know we're going to have your word of hope at the end of the program, but I do want to ask you a couple of other questions because I'm trying to get in the right space, and I want to make sure that our listening audience is in the space with us. I don't see, when we talk about the beloved community or the World House that you and I articulate every week, I don't see that as the focus or the thrust of, let's say, the J.B. Pritzker for President campaign. I don't see how Rahm Emanuel for president gets us there. I don't see, beyond the anger and some of the tactics that I think have been very convincing politically, how the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, gets us to what we talk about every Thursday. Mm-hmm. I don't see it from or understand how Pete Buttigieg gets us there. And I'm not saying that they can't. I'm not saying that they too can't go through the kind of transformation that I believe in the fire Lincoln went through, where literally, like Johnson, he may have started one way, but by the end of his presidency, to save the Union, there is not only a political transformation, but there is this inward malice towards none personal transformation that the present fighters, if you will, the fighters that Democrats are demanding, we want someone to fight for us. We're not hearing from the Democratic Party. We want the antithesis of what Trump is, and we want it now, which means we've had to give up something in our own souls and in our own spirits that Dr. King himself and Howard Thurman himself and Martin Niemöller and Viktor Frankl themselves provided for us a path to inoculate ourselves from becoming them and from becoming that which we are fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Help me in the space, Dr. Mack.
Jesse, it's a difficult conversation. But we have to have difficult conversations. And we have to face realities. We only have about 4 minutes to answer your question. And it's such an important question. And it's a conversation that we should have with your listeners and continue. Jesse, there have been 6 Republican presidents since the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. There have been 4 Democratic presidents since the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. Your point that you don't see, you mentioned all Democratic candidates or potential candidates. You don't see the change coming. That is the change into the World House and realizing the beloved community in any of those you named. I agree with you, perhaps for different reasons. I often and almost always talk about the social order, Jesse, because I don't think we as a people fully understand how important the social order is, how resilient the social order is, how difficult it is to change the social order, and how deterministic the order itself is. Just think about it. The election process itself, our democratic system is so designed that it determines even before we vote who we will vote for. The people don't determine who we will vote for in terms of our two-party system. The process determines it, and that process is not one where individual citizens directly determine who they want as candidates. And from there on, throughout the entire voting process, Jesse, you know this better than I, the process in many ways, dare I say it, is rigged in certain ways. And until and unless we come to grips with a system that is designed to maintain the status quo, I want to slam my desk in order to make this point. Until we fully understand how that system is designed to change the status quo, we can never change it, and we'll always have the same. That's a real challenge, Jesse.
I'm hopeful. I think the truth sets us free.
Mm-hmm.
And I struggle sometimes with the highs and the lows of life, from the mountaintop to the valley. And so I know that Dr. King also struggled with the highs and the lows of life, and that depression, that space that can only be defined as a valley in the human consciousness. I prepare myself and right-size my expectations for what I'm expecting going forward and the political reality. We are sending a crop of people to Washington in November, and we must send a new crop of people to Washington in November to stop Donald Trump.
Yes.
But to stop Donald Trump is not the presence of what Dr. Mack espouses every Thursday on this program. I also believe in that. I also believe in reconstructing the nation, but also reconstructing and transforming the spirit of the nation itself. And that's not possible without, as Howard Thurman would have referred to it as the pre-preparation for the battle, so that we enter the battle itself having been through an inward journey, a struggle to make sure that we don't become exactly what we're fighting against. And the great danger of that, of course, is a perpetual kind of cold civil war between brothers and sisters that genuinely should be in agreement. Grateful for another week with you, Brother Mack.
My pleasure.
Love you so much. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. See you guys on a Monday on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.